2024 is almost over, and it's honestly been a pretty rough year for Apple. Their iPhones look the same as last year, and the year before, and even the year before that. The big thing of the year this year was supposed to be Apple Intelligence, but we still haven't gotten all the features yet, and the features that we have gotten aren't that great. But 2025 is a new year, and it's supposed to be a big year for Apple. Here's everything we know so far. Apple's gonna start off the year with an event in March, updating their cheaper products like the iPhone SE, MacBook Air, and the base model iPad, and they're also gonna release a new product for the smart home that I'll get to later. The MacBook Air is probably going to be the most boring update at the March event because it's not going to get any aesthetic changes, just a new M4 chip for better performance and more efficiency. And it's going to get a new 12 megapixel center stage camera, which kind of keeps you in frame and keeps you centered no matter where you move in the camera. The iPhone SE hasn't been updated in a few years, so it's finally going to get a complete redesign with no home button, USB-C, and the A18 chip, so it's compatible with Apple Intelligence. Obviously, at this point, nobody really knows exactly what it's going to look like, but the rumors so far look really cool, and I think it's a nice looking phone. Okay, I lied. The MacBook Air isn't going to be the most boring product of this event. I think that's going to have to go to the base model iPad. The only change with this iPad is it's going to get a new chip like the A18, just so it can be compatible with Apple Intelligence, and this iPad is the worst. Please don't get this iPad. In this March event, Apple's also going to release a brand new smart home display that can be mounted to your wall, or a more premium version that has an arm that swivels 360 degrees for something like your desktop. This display will be pretty cheap for an Apple product, so it can compete with their competitors. It's also not going to have a lot of functionality, but it will have an app store, so you can get things like the music app or podcasts and then play them on your HomePods. Then we're going to get some sort of always-on display, kind of like the standby mode on your iPhone, so it can always display the time or your photos or cool things like that. I think they're going to redesign the Home app to make it a little better, because right now the Home app honestly kind of sucks and there's not a lot of customization, so that's more of a hope than a rumor. But I really hope it happens. Then we have WWDC, which is the Worldwide Developers Conference, and it's always all about software, but this time we're lucky and we get a few products as well. We're gonna have a new Mac Studio, which is gonna get new chips like the M4 Max and Ultra, which are gonna be incredibly powerful. And it'll be getting Thunderbolt 5 added for insanely fast transfer speeds up to 120 gigabytes. We're also gonna get a new updated AirTag 2, which won't get any redesign, but they're gonna update the internals to make the connectivity a little better and make it easier to find your AirTags. During this event, we'll get the first look at new operating systems like iOS 19, which is going to have a huge emphasis on a new Siri, which will actually be better, unlike the bullcrap we got this year. A few months later, we're going to have the biggest Apple event of the year, the iPhone event, which is going to release new Apple Watches and new iPhones. The Apple Watch Series 11 isn't going to be much different than the Series 10. It'll probably just get a new S11 chip to make it a little bit more efficient and a little bit faster. The Apple Watch SE, which is aimed as a device for children, is rumored to actually get a new design made out of some sort of plastic material. This plastic case should bring the cost way down and maybe make it more of a competitor to something like a Gab Watch, which right now is like the Apple Watch for children. As far as watches for kids go, the Gab Watch is kind of number one because it's cheap and it's a really easy way to contact or track your kids. We're supposed to get a new design Apple Watch Ultra 3, and I'm so excited because last year all we got was a new color and I was pretty bummed, but this year I can't wait for this new Ultra 3. This watch is rumored to get a complete redesign, making it a lot thinner and giving it a big, huge edge-to-edge screen, making it the biggest display on an Apple Watch. This is also going to get the S11 chip, which is supposed to be a lot more efficient, which is really important since they're slimming down the phone and having less battery in it to keep that same battery life that it has before. This year, Apple's going to release 4 new phones, starting with the regular iPhone 17, which is going to be pretty similar to the iPhone 16, but with the new A19 chip. Then we'll get the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, which is going to have a completely new redesign, and I think it is awesome. Of course, it's really early. The new phone comes out in like 7 months, but the new rumors that show the new design look awesome, and I'm so excited for it. It looks pretty similar to a Google Pixel, but I love it. I think it looks sweet, and I'm so excited for something new. These Pros are going to get the new A19 Pro chip, which of course will make it a little more efficient and a little faster, but more importantly, it's going to get a new upgraded 48 megapixel telephoto lens. This is cool because the current iPhone 16 Pros have a 5x telephoto lens, but now with the new 48 megapixel lens, it'll be able to zoom up to 10x. I believe it does this by zooming to 5x, but then it uses the extra megapixels to crop down to 12 megapixels, so it zooms in even further. Apple's going to release a brand new iPhone this year called the iPhone 17 Air, but honestly, this one's kind of weird and I don't know who it's for. This iPhone 17 Air is going to be the thinnest iPhone ever at 5mm, but it's also going to be the most expensive iPhone ever, starting at $1,500. This makes me kind of nervous because we have had thinner iPhones than we do right now, but we know how durable those were. In order to make this iPhone as thin as they're wanting, they're actually downgrading two things: the battery and the cameras. Since they're making the iPhone a lot thinner, obviously they can't fit as much battery into the phone, so it's gonna have a lot less battery life than we do now, and I feel like right now, the iPhone's battery isn't great. They're also downgrading the cameras, so it's only gonna have one lens, which, I mean, it's not a huge deal because cameras are pretty good, but I mean, it is a downgrade for a more expensive phone, so it's really weird. Plus, I mean, is anyone even asking for a thinner phone? Our phones are pretty thin already, and making it a few millimeters thinner isn't gonna be a huge difference. So I'd rather more battery than a thinner phone. This should be a pretty big year for Apple. I'm super excited for the redesigned iPhone 17 Pros with a better Siri and the redesigned Apple Watch Ultra 3. But I mean, these are just really early rumors, so we'll see what actually happens.